Hello, everybody, and welcome. Make sure my mic is working. Yeah, there we go. Okay, how is everybody? Hope everybody's had a great weekend. Let's see who's in the chat. Hello, Wendell. I appreciate you being here. Hello, Denise. I appreciate you being here as well. Everyone, welcome. We got a little bit late start because we couldn't go live on yergsradio.com, but that's okay. We are live on Yergs Radio. You can listen over there if you want, yergsradio.com, and of course, Rainbow Radio. And our newest affiliate is Radio X in Australia. Hello to everybody down under. I believe it's pretty late at night there. So if anybody wants to join in the live chat, come over to YouTube and find me under the Para R Normal Guys, 3 words with a Z. And you can also search out, I think, the Sportcat shows. At any rate, you can jump in the live chat. Hello, Chris. We appreciate you being here. And once you come over, and of course, everybody that's watching or listening on Spotify, come over. And I need everybody to hit that thumbs up button to share this news around. And I need everybody to subscribe so we can help get monetized and we can get this information to more people in the world, because there's a lot going on in the world. One of the first questions I'll field is, I have heard from some people going, oh, Donald Trump was out golfing while the world was burning down. Yeah, he was. But there was no request for FEMA assistance because the states take care of it first. And then after that, they ask for assistance from the neighboring states and neighborhoods. And from there, you call FEMA. And of course, the governor declares an emergency, requests federal help. And we'll get into that with the daily operations briefing here in just a moment. And we will see what's going on. And no, I did not watch the Oscars. I have a list that I'll go over of all the winners. I'm going to be perfectly honest. Since COVID, I really have not followed much of Hollywood or the entertainment. And I guess I should, since not only do I do this show, but we have a show on Saturdays that talks a lot about entertainment with the Misfits. We talk about entertainment, pop culture, music, stuff like that. And of course, I need to keep up with the music world because, well, I have the radio program every Tuesday and Thursday at lunchtime on the Thin Line Rock Station. You can listen to me there, www.thethinlinerockstation.com, or download their app on iPad or, well, Apple or Android, and you can listen there as well. So yeah, I didn't need to do a better job of keeping up with Hollywood and the music industry. I lost a lot of interest after I found out about how horrible some of the people were that were in Hollywood. And you can take it from the it is what it is. How about that? Can you see me? Can you hear me? Hello, buddy. Anybody got me now? Right, turn that off. What is going on? All right. I'm trying to figure this out. Yeah, I I got you. You can see or hear me now. Weird thing is, I'm in my studio as a guest, and it will not let me do anything, and I don't know why. Okay. How about now? Can you see me? How about now? Let me know. Can you see me? So, if so, yeah, we're gonna try something. I may have just killed the whole damn show. All right, is anything coming out now? Um, this thing has went totally haywire. I mean, I don't know why. It's crazy what it's doing. I had to come back into my studio, and I'm gone. I had to come back in the studio as a guest, and so it wouldn't let me see or hear anything. All right, we're gonna try this again. See what happens. All right. Well, we don't need that. So let's see if this works this time. It's showing that I'm going out. So are we here? Am I together? Am I live? What's going on? There we go. I'm like apparently way behind. Okay. So all right, everybody, somebody send a thumbs up in the comment or send something. So Wendell says I'm working, and it looks like that's real time. So we'll go with that and figure it out from there. Yes, but you're breaking up. I don't normally cuss on this show, but I really want to right now. Why am I breaking up? I should not be breaking up. We'll see if there's any trouble making programs down here that's causing this. Now, audio. Ross said I was live on Jurg's radio, so I don't know. We're just gonna. Maybe it was the clock. Maybe. I don't know. We're just gonna roll with it. Daily operations briefing. I think we're good. So everybody, apologize for being 17 minutes in the show and just figuring this crap out because it all went haywire and I had to actually enter my studio as a guest and come back in. All right. So Chris says I'm doing good, so we're going to roll with it. And if I'm not, well, then I don't know. We'll then I'll just burn. All right. So we're looking at the FEMA daily operational brief and the national current operations and what they are monitoring. And the new significant ongoing operations, of course, anybody that's followed the news has seen that the Carolinas are burning. Myrtle Beach was no longer a beautiful beach town. It was a fiery, smoky hell. They are experiencing critical extreme fire weather, the Southwest, Southern Plains, and of course, there's expecting some severe storms across the Southern Plains. And weirdly enough, in California, the Central Basin, there's going to be some heavy snow. So there have been no new declarational events. And the events that they are monitoring is apparently tomorrow, there's going to be a presidential address to a joint session of Congress. It is my understanding that this is not a what they do once a year, a federal address. That is not what this is. Apparently, this is a different speech. I do not know what the speech is on. Some have speculated it. Some have said that it could be about what occurred with Zelensky, but it was scheduled before that, so I don't think that's it. And to give you my opinion on the Zelensky thing, some people have said it was staged, and I'm State of the Union. Yes, that's right. I don't think this is a normal State of the Union. I think that's done later in the year. He's only been there for what, like 30 some days, 33 days. So you can't really give a State of the Union on just that. My opinion on was the event staged. I believe it was, and he commented, and I just didn't give it a whole lot of thought, but I went and researched it about why didn't they just sign this, and we didn't have to have the whole big deal of, him coming over here and the cameras and the signing it and everything. Well, apparently, yes, Ross is correct. State of the Union is usually in January. You're correct, Ross. Apparently, Zelensky demanded that he come over to the executive office, to the executive branch. So that was why it was done the way it was. Now, I believe protocol, Ross can correct me on this if I'm wrong, but they usually, whenever a foreign leader comes in, they'll have a little, hey, press, how you doing type of thing. And then they'll turn the cameras off, take care of business, and they'll come out and have an actual press conference. And so the exchange occurred during the initial greeting of officials. And since this was to be signed and agreed to by both parties, we had our both ambassadors from Ukraine and from America there. And of course, there's a team of lawyers if there's some legal question that comes up so they can answer it to be ready at a moment's notice. The meeting got off to a sour start because of a couple things. The president was not impressed that he came to the Oval Office. Been on the front lines. Why are you wearing a military uniform? You're a president. You're not a military right off live there in the Oval Office in front of the media. And I believe that Trump and Vance knew that. And there had been prior disagreements with the previous administration and Zelensky, including a shouting match from Biden, who typically, as far as dealing with dignitaries, I don't believe he's ever been that way that I've seen. But apparently there was in June of 2022 a shouting match would ask, or you've never said thank you. And of course, there's been the whole thing of, we've given you money, where's it's gone, blah, blah, blah. So I don't know anything about that, but apparently, so there were some tense feelings, and him and Vance are not friends to start with. And when Zelensky went on his, I'm going to try and appeal to the American people, no, we're not doing this. You're an indignant, ungrateful person coming to this office, disrespecting the office, but showing up this Americans to defeat 140 million Russians. So we have paid more than the European Union, and European Union has gotten guarantees, and that's what we were asking for. And in the actual legal document that they were signing, which we showed last week, he didn't get a security guarantee. His security guarantee is he wants to be. That's a no deal. That's a no deal. That's not going to happen. So then he's demanding boots on the ground. Well, I'm sorry, but Americans are tired of giving boots on the ground to every leader that wants our soldiers to die for their cause. Sorry, I don't think that should happen either. But what he was going to get was a guarantee of protection for the American workers by land, sea, and air. Now, land would initially have to be the Army, the sea would have to be the Navy, and the air would have to be the Air Force. Until private, etc. So there was going to be protection, and these places were going to be strategically located where if either side became an aggressor, it would start a global conflict because you would be attacking Americans. And so that was why the deal was agreed to the way it was. And if you're mediating anything, you go talk to one side, and then you go talk to the other, and then you come back and talk to the other, and then you eventually get the two parties together. And as I've been told, it's a good legal binding agreement when both parties are pissed off and leave accordingly. So I've heard that from lawyers. I've heard that from judges. I heard that from Ross. So I think it was somewhat staged on both sides. And I think somebody standing up to him and not just cowtailing to him was good. And I'm glad the American people got to see how we're tired of sending you money. We're not going to give you our blood. So I don't know. That's my opinion. Like it, not, I don't care. But Ross says I froze for part of it. I went on a rant, which you hardly ever hear, and it froze. Good times. Good times. All right. I need to figure out what is making this computer do this or why it is lagging. Because talking to chance to. I was busy over the weekend. So I'm putting out fires myself, but of a different situation. So, all right, so we go to the wildfires in Carolinas, not California. Multiple brush fires and wildfires are burning in North and South Carolinas, significantly impacting South Carolina the most near the coastline, which was Horry, Georgetown, and Berkeley counties. This morning, as I understand it, they've gotten a pretty good knock of the fires, and they're significantly reduced, but they're not 100% contained as of yet. And we are still in a high fire danger, which we'll cover here in a minute. FEMA is monitoring the situation, but state and local resources are handling it. It has not been a request from FEMA as of yet. They have activated the National Guard, and that is so that they can bring in the helicopters doing the water drops. Typically here on the East Coast, we don't have a whole lot of planes that do the water drops. So we've had to call in for help for that, which we've gotten. And this, Ross would be interested in seeing this. It's the presidential address to joint sessions of Congress, and it shows the FEMA response, the state and local response, the FEMA response, and the headquarters response. what's going to be secured off, what's going to be locked down. I'm sure there'll be a larger flight restriction over the area. On March 4th, the president, good Lord, I sound like I'm in high school. On March 4th, the president of the United States will be addressing a joint session of the 119th Congress in the chamber of the House of Representatives at the U.S. Capitol. The Secretary of the Department of Homeland Security has designated the event as a national special security event, and FEMA is serving as the lead federal agency. Consequence management. Well, all right. Okay, so as we discussed earlier, there's not going to be any rain here today over on the East Coast, helping our Carolina neighbors, which they so desperately need. There's going to be snow that's spread from California through the Rockies and past the Rockies, down from Nebraska, southward, Arkansas, severe storms in the Midwest, Texas, Oklahoma. It's typically known as Tornado Alley. Tuesday, it will shift slightly with everything moving towards the east. The rain will start helping out Carolina, 3 days for the country, extending just above Tennessee, up northeast out through Maine, with rain in the southern, southeastern region being Florida, the Carolinas, Tennessee, Georgia, Alabama, etc. So, the only severe outlook for today, primary spreading east, with Wednesday hitting the coast, the heaviest of it all. The largest snow, it looks like you may even get a little snow there, with some out over the Rockies being slightly higher as well. The fire outlook, which is the biggest news of the day, is extreme and critical in Texas, Oklahoma, extending all the way up to Nebraska and the Southwest are right now peak for burn season. It's really high, so everybody cigarettes and cigars in a safe manner and do not have any outdoor fires. All right, the weather outlook doesn't look as though anything major. There's going to be some sunspots and some solar activity, and it's the main ocean down south. It's not going to affect us here in the States very much. And as we saw earlier, their operating picture, we saw that they're watching these storms and extreme weather in Texas. They're also keeping an eye on the Carolina fires. Hopefully by tomorrow, we'll get a good idea on if they've got them knocked out. And they're keeping an eye on the heavy snow that's supposed to be coming. No new declarations, it appears. Well, no, that's not true. Virginia has requested some assistance for flooding, severe storms, and tornadoes. And that's the most newest of the ones. Any requests in progress? Of course, we still have New York, and this is all old news. We've seen this part. All right, so we'll kill that screen. Maybe that'll help a little bit. The presidential schedule for today, well, it looks like he had the normal 9 a.m. press time, and at 13:30, which is right about now, East Coast Standard Time, he's making an investment announcement. Who knows what that'll be. And then tomorrow we see, oh no, they haven't got Tuesday's schedule yet posted. So All right. So he really doesn't have a whole lot going on today. He's probably getting ready for his speeches. All right. One of the bigger stories of the day has been earthquakes. In fact, there was some earthquake shaking during the what was it, the Oscars. So it was, I think, after the after parties. LA experienced a 2.7, and then they experienced up in Oregon State, good Lord, Washington State, an earthquake right after that. So it was a 2.8 in California, a significantly larger one a little bit south, cyclone out affecting our down under, Cyclone Alfred affecting Australia. And I did want to cover this because, well, I did not know the difference between cyclones, typhoons, and hurricanes. And they are all named the same way, but the reason that they're called the things they are called is because of their locations. So it's basically in the Atlantic and Pacific, it's hurricanes. Out to the east, in Asia, Russia, uh, they're called typhoons, and down under they're called cyclones. And their typical cyclone season is January through March, October. So I found it kind of interesting because, if it's cold here, it's warm in another part of the world. Unless you're a flat earth person who doesn't agree with that. I won't go there. All right, so the fire and smoke map. Let's say it's the largest fire, but it looks as though ones in the Carolina smoke map was typically tracking more to the end. So we'll keep an eye on that. I'm not sure if it uh, is going to help with the storms or not in the Midwest, because a lot of times lightning starts 2 days. So there's that. And next we have the air quality index. Here in Atlanta, we're back in the moderate again. Shocker. Pretty much from Austin up through Minneapolis is in the moderate. Up in the Northeast, slightly more towards Cleveland, Pittsburgh area. Out on the west, the Rocky Mountains. I suspect all of that will be blowing away soon. We'll look at the wind map, which is Chris's favorite, here in just a few minutes. Hopefully, as I'm closing some of these windows, maybe that'll help speed the computer up. We'll see. And here is our favorite map. This shows the wind flow and direction of the world. And as you can see right now, the wind is pulling off of the west coast of Washington and tracking up northwest along the coast of Alaska, and down south on the west coast, it's pulling off of the coast and tracking more to the southwest. And that's leaving a little bit of the middle part of the country with it coming over the Rockies and pushing an updraft up through the Great Plains. And it's not a real windy day per se. Here in the south, it's not very windy at all. Most of the winds are coming off of the east coast, but there's not a whole lot of wind to be spoken of in the U.S. at the moment. except in the Great Plains, like I said, going to the north, we'll call it northwest, but it's pretty much tracking north. Now, I did see a weather advisory that stated that there is a big front coming down from Canada that is going to be pushing through the Great Plains into the south. And it's, yes, not windy, but it's still a relaxing map to watch. You're correct, Chris. That tomorrow there's going to be a pressure coming, a front coming down from Canada, pushing through the Great Plains towards the southeast and the northeast. And if, as predicted, with the power and intensity of it meeting up with the storms that are expected today over the plains, if those two meet up at the right time, supposedly it can create almost hurricane force. It's a Monday. I'm just having a Monday. It's supposed to create hurricane-like winds coming down into the south. So we're going to follow that and see. Hopefully that does not come out as they describe, but we don't know. Well, we won't know. All right, so I'm trying to find my geography here and get over here to Australia and look at your wind map, because I know you all are worried about the cyclone that's going to, well, if you follow, your cyclone forecasting is a lot like ours. And there's lots of lines where it's going to be. So right now it looks like it's going to affect Queensland with the wind and rain the most, but there's also potential for it to continue out to sea. So we'll follow that. But it is not too windy currently over Australia. All right, we'll pull up the United States wind map. And the highest winds, as we talked about, were pretty much coming out of the west, crossing over the Rockies, going back up north. And the highest were 30 miles an hour. And if you see here over Denver, northwest of Denver, you see that little trough there, that little circular, that's what they're saying is going to meet up with the cold front and come down and push into the southeast tomorrow. Throw that damn thing across the room, and have heavy high winds tomorrow in the southeast. So we're going to see about that. All right, I know we're about to lose Radio Australia, and I'm sorry the first little bit of this was not that great of radio. I promise I will continue to keep working and doing better. So we need to find, I'm going to try and figure out which of these screens freezes up my computer the most. So, all right, so for Cyclone Alfred, I almost said Hurricane Alfred, Cyclone Alfred, the next 120 hours, it could go two directions. It could continue tracking to the northeast and go out to sea, or it could track and come inland, affecting Queensland. So we're going to keep an eye on it. It looks like the most likely track is it's going to come inwards as a level 2, striking Queensland. And we'll keep an eye on that because that's going to be within the next 24 hours. So thoughts and prayers for our Australian neighbors. And I pulled this up because, like I said earlier, you all have the same thing we do here in the continental states. You get the spaghetti maps. So by 4 a.m. local time to the Sunshine Coast, it should start affecting you if it continues to track to the northwest. If it continues to track to the northeast, it will go out to sea. So we're going to keep an eye on it, but it looks like it's going to come in right above Brisbane, affecting the Sunshine and Gold Coast. So Chris, there was two things that I thought about majoring in. Actually, there was three. I throw my thing across the room. There was three things, Chris, that I thought about coming into college as. One was a meteorologist, and the third was a lawyer. But unfortunately, I took the dumber route and decided to be a paramedic. But the one thing is, I do not look back on my career negatively. I affected many lives, and I made a difference, and I'm glad for that. So, um, that Chris, I'm trying. I'm trying. All right, so we're gonna hop into some fire news. Due to some personal events, I didn't get to pull up, but there was a couple line of duty deaths over the weekend in the United States for both fire and police. I'm going to try and get more on that. Let's see, 3-3 Dallas, Texas. There was a accident where they had to extricate a female, a driver, and so we don't know the condition, but that was in Dallas, Texas. That was at 04:05 local time to Texas. And we've had some fires down here of Early County, Georgia. It was a 400-acre wood fire, 75% brush and contained. There were multiple fires in Georgia. Houston County, an accident on a boat ramp with a John boat sinking. That's not a very big boat to be in. So thank you, Chris. Thank you. I appreciate that. I did enjoy my career. It, like every career, it has its ups and has its downs. And a lot of the downs are administration and paperwork. Let's see here. Atlanta, we had several large apartment fires. At one point in time in South Fulton County, which is the county just south of Atlanta, there were so many fires they were requesting assistance from their northern and eastern neighbors. Actually, it was probably more their northern and western neighbors because their eastern neighbors were working so many brush fires. There were so many fires because of the brush fires causing house fires that they needed help. And then at one point in time, a section of DeKalb County, which is pretty much metro Atlanta, was shut down, and they were calling for mutual aid because of the amount of fires that they were having. So yeah, they had a commercial fire that started as a brush fire that, with the high winds, spread to a tire warehouse. And if you've ever burned a tire, that is thick black smoke, and these things were stacked to the ceiling in the warehouse. So it was a nightmare to get under control. They did have a couple accidents over the weekend with several people in Atlanta because of the high winds. I never understand why high winds affects the storm, but several that were kind of bad. So, all right, let's slide over here. Most of these are going to be the fires. This was an apartment fire in Charlotte. In China Grove, this was just a very large house fire. Any beach area. I mean, this pretty much at one point in time, horrible frame dwelling, and companies have water on the that was done. Each one of these little red things indicates where the fire was. And Boston had several fires. Heavy fire in a wood story, one story wood frame ranch, and then another one in a 2.5 story wood frame, and they got that one knocked out pretty good. Weymouth, Mass, reported a fire in a 2-story wood frame. A lot of these are single family dwelling homes. Portland, Maine, Heavy fire in a 2-story house in New Hampshire on Old Lake Road in Guilford County. Fire showing from the rear of a mobile home. They asked for mutual aid to help to assist. And still in New Hampshire, they had a second alarm transmitted for a well-involved residential structure requesting mutual aid to the scene and to cover their areas. They have two alarms in New Hampshire. That's pretty odd, or pretty rare, not odd. I keep getting it to move off that one, or is that one? Yeah, second alarm for well-involved residential. All right, and close that one and open the other one. Maybe it's the same one and they just got two different dots. Heavy fire in an automotive repair shop. Well, that's pretty big. We talked about the one in Atlanta, and it was a big fire. All right, so this is the current event map. I suspect this is probably the one that is causing my computer the most pain in the ass because it requires so much, because it's so graphical and there's so much data here. Since we're about to lose Radio X Australia, let's cover them real quick. Come in South Wales, so we know about that. They also have a heat wave going on in the middle of Australia, Western Australia. So they're experiencing heat waves. They're seeking millions. They're sweltering early autumn heat wave. Soaring temperatures break records. I should have pulled up the records and seen what they were. And they had a large outdoor fire in Perth, and there were many homes and lives at risk. And that was at 10:50 a.m. local time. Australia, I want to thank you before you get out of here. I know we only had the first hour with you. Thank you, Radio Australia. We appreciate your support, and everybody who wants to continue to listen to the second, I don't know, little bit of my show, maybe a second half hour to an hour, come over and find me on YouTube. And it's under the Paranormal Guys with a Z, or just search out the Sportcat shows. Hit that thumbs up button, like, follow, share, and subscribe, and you can continue listening to the whole show. I appreciate you, Radio X. We're still going to stay live on my channels, and of course, Jurg's Radio. You can always tune in if you don't want to go to YouTube. Down under, you can go to Jurg's Radio at jurgsradio.com and check in there. All right, so let's zoom out a little bit here and get back closer to the continental United States before Radio X gets out of here. They can hear about some of the bad things happening here. And there's plenty of them. But reporting on some more plane incidents. FedEx plane has made an emergency landing at Newark, and it was after a bird strike, and it set an engine on fire, and then they had 2 firefighters and 3 others injured in a Upper East Side fire, and I'm assuming that was Upper East Side, and 6 injured, 1 critically after a fire went through a home in Queens. So that was a mess there, and New York, New Jersey, in my opinion. So yes, in the Carolinas in place, many homes were lost so quick. And see what the latest count is. Playground. I wonder why there was 2 people shot at an apartment playground. Okay. I don't know. Seems like they should have been playing. All right. In an airplane incident with 5 injuries as turbulent forces multiple flights to divert to Waco Airport. As we talked about that wind coming across the Rocky Mountains, the elevated altitude does cause quite a bit of turbulence for the airplanes, the aircraft. And of course, they are still having the problem with the measles across the border down to their south, and it's also across the border to their neighbors to the west. Mexican. So we can look at quad is what, 4. So virus cases growing in children, and that's in Denver as possible quad-demic. Well, quad is 4, so I don't know. I would have to look and see what the legal or medical definition between pandemic, epidemic, and quad-demic. Pan, I think, means many. Epi, I believe, means external. Quad, I believe, is 4. So I'd have to look that up. But okay. Well, this is this is fresh. For in Vancouver, and I guess that would be considered Victoria, and at the Canadian United States border, and they issued a tsunami alert. So I have not followed anything on that. Radio X, thank you. I appreciate it. As Chris said, have a great one. Hopefully you can come over and find us on YouTube and get the rest of it, our Hearings Radio. But if you want to join in the conversation, you got to be on YouTube so I can see you in the chat. Drought in the middle part of the country, which is going to fuel in this fire weather more and more and more fires. And I always have an opinion. Let's when we go over here to the disaster alerts. No, I don't think this is. Yeah, I think this is the one. Is this the one? I don't know. All right. So welcome everybody that is now with us in the 2:00 Eastern, 1400 hour, I believe 11 down under. Welcome. You're on part 2 of the Sportcat Daily Gazette. All right. So winter storm warning in the Southwest, floods in England, UK. Zazera? I'm not sure. Queensland, wind on the Gold Coast. In South Africa, high winds. So those are the most recent notifications to the disaster alert. The wildfires in the Carolinas. There was some flooding down in Louisiana, and there was actually some wildfires down there, some flooding in lower Louisiana, and looks like the wildfires were really bad in Oklahoma out in the middle. And yeah, it looked like there was a line of them between Oklahoma and Arkansas. And they had some flooding in central Kentucky and high winds across the Great Plains up in Iowa with snow to the west of the Rockies. Hello, Soul. Welcome to the Daily Gazette. It's in Nevada, down in Phoenix, it was a drought. And we see in our northerly neighbors, they are worried about severe weather coming up. I think there's just going to be more of a winter storm warning. Zoom out a little bit. Significant thing. I have to show one thing. I think that map is the one that probably slows my computer down the most. Maybe. I don't know. Maybe it's just my computer. All right, so there's 674 deletes. Alerts for diseases in the United States in the past week. Of course, we know we've been following the outbreaks in Texas. I think the most recent ones were in Maryland and all the way across on the other side of the country. It was Los Angeles. And they've had them reported in pretty much every state at this time. Measles, though, 2 inmates have tested positive for COVID. And I don't believe, Oregon, I don't think has any measles outbreaks. So Kane and this week in history, First Hill axe murders. Why downtown's doom loop is over. I don't know what the doom loop is, but that was a little older news. Let's see. Cats testing positive for bird flu. Yeah, we covered that already. And could the measles outbreak in the Southwest spread to Montana? Well, it hasn't yet, but be advised it's probably coming. Idaho families are working to prevent the measles. Good. There's vaccinations. It is a curable disease. Utah says they are at low risk. That's good news. And dogs at a Las Vegas shelter have tested positive for canine distemper. That's unfortunate. That's a little older news. All right, we're going to just kind of jump around here. Flu rates are on the rise throughout the Midwest. And I think that's spread more towards the South now. And this map don't want to cooperate much either. And what do we got? Nevada and Nebraska starts with an N. Oklahoma, they're seeing a lot of cases. Influenza, strep, pneumonia. It's apparently the measles outbreak is spreading across Texas into Oklahoma. And Missouri, well, that's more of a local state thing, but it's old news. It's talking about children losing insurance, which is unfortunate. And down here, Mississippi, that's old news. Alabama, what do we got going on down here? funny. I can click on some and it'll close, and others I have to manually close it. All right, so Alabama health officials are monitoring, so must not have any confirmed cases. I know in Georgia we had a confirmed case. Georgia is also um, going through a flu epidemic at the moment. See, down in Florida, cruise ships with 150 norovirus patients as documented. And then it was 5 years ago, almost to the day, where COVID-19 arrived with 100,000 dead. All right. That norovirus is typically transmitted from something on the food, usually, and this sounds disgusting, but usually fecal matter. As much as I want to go on a cruise with Mrs. Sportcat, I just don't want to go. Over the weekend, a University of Virginia student was diagnosed with that one. I don't know what that one is. The Carolinas, it looks as though pretty much they're talking about the 5-year anniversary of COVID. Nothing significant in North Carolina and South Carolina. Same about the flu. It's spreading to the south. So we'll go up here to Maine, and flu cases are on the rise. And end of February, Vermont stopped publishing COVID deaths. Interesting. All right. And yeah, there's a lot of the news today is because of five years ago today is when we started COVID pandemic epidemic shut-in. Uh, they're preparing for the flu. Pretty good. Virginia over where Cheyenne is. The avian flu. I really know how. And then up around Detroit, looks like they're discussing the flu and COVID with RSV. Yeah, those two are going to kind of go hand in hand. And Wisconsin, they don't really have much to report. The world. It's one of the reasons you see me here. Let's see. Son of Minnesota basketball legend pleads guilty to $6 million in COVID fraud money. And I know that's how politicians get elected, is by sending everybody money. Kids don't have to worry about it. I mean, that to me makes the most sense, but who am I? I think we've pretty much covered this map. I don't believe I missed anywhere. I was trying to hit the highlights. Tennessee, did I get you? Uh, uh, You shouldn't go to the 500 for a few minutes. We'll look at the most recent poll. There was a shakeup in the polls, but yesterday in men's basketball, Michigan State won, Illinois, Memphis, and Kennesaw State won. The polls were Auburn, which is Tennessee's ex-coach, is still flying high in the first spot, followed by Duke. University. Houston, then my favorite, number 4, 10 and 7, which is down one. Basketball Rose. We'll just test the Sportcat spots. They're down the 23rd spot, which pushed somebody out and kept Mississippi State in because they went down by 1. And then we'll cover female basketball. All right, we will cover it. It's probably up here. I'm blind. College basketball. No, I want women's basketball. Why am I not seeing there? I'm blind. It's right here in front of me. Yesterday, women's basketball was a big day for women's basketball. Texas beat Florida. South Carolina rattled and fell to Washington. Michigan overcame Illinois. Oklahoma State beat Kansas. Alabama lost to Oklahoma. TCU beat Baylor. Ole Miss lost to LSU. This is women's college basketball, but I want to go back and make a comment about men's. Virginia and Georgia. This was the big shakeup. Unranked Georgia beat the Lady Vols 72 69. Creighton over Tennessee is going to play Texas first round in the SEC playoffs. Top 10, UConn, UCLA. Number 5 was South Carolina. Notre Dame was number 6. North Carolina State is number 7. TCU is in the 8th spot with LSU and Oklahoma rounding up the top 10. And is still in the top 25 AP poll, but they're down 18th, just above the hated Alabama. And number 25 is South Dakota State. One thing I wanted to mention, if you get a chance to go back and look at any of the highlights, look at the men's basketball, the Tennessee game. Just check out the last 10 seconds of that game. That shot from past mid-half court for Tennessee to win the game, chef's kiss. Amazing. If you follow it, the Celtics, the Knicks, the Pelicans were all winners yesterday. NASCAR, Sunday is always a big day for NASCAR. And we saw that Christopher Bell took the, and this one is, I wish I'd gotten to see, the Echo Park Automotive Grand Prix. It was a road race. I like road races more than I like the regular races because the difference, if you're not a sports fan, the difference between a road race and a normal race is you're pretty much turning left all the time in a normal race. But in a road race, it can be a figure eight. It can be, there's multiple turns and stuff, and the drivers can't get up to full speed, and there's a lot of bumping going on. So that's one of the reasons to the IndyCar race. Why did it go there? I don't think that occurred. I believe he stayed home, but it was down near him in St. Petersburg with what was his name? Anthony Palu. He took first spot. I have not really watched a lot of IndyCar, but it's up and coming. I really need to. And I saw a story over in the golf world. No, it would be yesterday. Would have been March. Let's see. I don't guess they had any matches, but supposedly, I don't want this event schedule. I just wanted to go to the leaders board. Will it take me to the leaders board? No. Oh, yeah, here we go. Rankings. And I don't know which of these. I don't follow golf, but I saw that there is, and I'm going to try and follow this up because I found it interesting. It was a ex-prisoner felon. He is now, I guess they do it by your score, eligible to compete in the PGA. Or is it the LIV? Whatever it is. And he's eligible to compete. He went from nothing to where he's worked on his game, and he's coming up, and he's going to be a contender for whatever they call it over there. I don't follow soccer. If you're interested in the soccer, yesterday was quite a busy day in soccer. I really don't know that much about soccer, but I will tell you that Brighton, Barcelona, Fulham, Inter Miami, Vancouver. Yeah, I can't even think to pronounce that one. And Monterey were all winners yet. Chris, you're going to have to help me out on my soccer. Over the NHL, yesterday games, the Maple Leafs, the Wild, the Hurricanes, the Golden Knights, Rangers, and Stars were all winners. And Chris says his guy in IndyCar is Joseph, or is it Josef Newgarden? I need to watch it more. I really want to. I watched it growing up and I got into it. I also watched a lot of wrestling growing up and understand that, Steve Cena was, he turned into a bad guy yesterday or over the weekend. What the hell? So, yeah. And Chris says that the Brighton beating Newcastle was a little bit of an upset. MLB, we're still doing spring training, and I gave Chris and Casey a little crap because the Cubs had at that point. I don't think they are. Nope, they've lost a game. Had not lost a spring training game. I gave them a little crap because I said, "What have you not got your starters playing?" So, but the Cubs are going to look strong this year. They really are. The Braves beat the Yankees, but like I said, these games to me, we'll be lucky to beat them by one during the regular season. The other team I like, Tampa Bay, they were tied with the Twins. I hate a tie. The Nationals beat the Astros 4-3. Blue Jays beat the Phillies. Any Philly team that loses, I'm good with. The Giants beating the Angels. This is all spring training. And Brewers, Guardians, tie. How do you tie? There's always a winner. We don't get a trophy. The Rockies beat the Mariners. The Dodgers beat the Athletics. Rangers overcame the Diamondbacks. Well, the Marlins, they beat the Red Sox. They beat the Mets. I was glad to see that. And Reds beating the Cubs. Sorry, Chris. Sorry, it was 7-3. Dodgers beat the White Sox in the second game of the day. And the Royals beat the Padres 10-4. Opening day is what? April 13th. The first game is going to be played, I think, in Japan. It's not going to be played in the U.S. Why? I don't know. It's America's sport. But first game this season will not be in the U.S. Go face award ceremonies. You're an entertainer. I value what you do as an entertainer. Yeah, you played Iron Man. Yeah, you played a leading role in a movie. I don't give a rat's ass about your politics. Get up there, thank your mama, thank your daddy, um, thank whomever, but get off the political soapbox. I don't care about your politics. You're getting paid lots of money to be an entertainer. Entertain me. I don't give a rat's ass about your politicians. Chris says that he has suffered through a Cubs loss or two in his life. He will soldier on. Chris, I grew up a Baltimore Orioles fan. I feel your pain, brother. I feel your pain. All right, so the full list of winners for the Oscars. Best Picture went to Enora, which apparently is a movie about a lady who come up through the, we'll just call it a rough time in her life. Ross says I froze for part of it. Shocker. I don't know. I'll go back and listen to it on replay and see what it was. Yeah, so the best picture was Enora. Didn't see it. Actor in leading role, Adrian Brody. Actor in a supporting role was Kieran Cullen. Madison. Span editing. That is a job. Let me tell you, film editing. Enora, international feature film was I'm Still Here from Brazil. Makeup and hairstyling. I'm surprised that Wicked didn't get that one too, but it was The Substance. Musical, The Brutalist. That's probably why I didn't see the movie. Musical original song from Amelia Perez, El Maya. And what's that movie from? I don't know which movie that was. Best production design, Wicked. I can agree with that one. I didn't see the movie though. I just saw the highlights. Live action short film, I'm Not a Robot. Best sound, part 2, Dune. I agree. There's a lot of good effects. It's probably close with Wicked though. Let's see. Writing from a screenplay at this film's best actress, Mickey Madison, best director, were all the clear winners of the night. The epicenter was just a few miles from the venue, and it occurred at 10 p.m. local time. They said they saw buildings shaking and felt vibrations. That has to be so scary. Even if you're used to it. They say that the intensity of the earthquake was low, and there's no tsunami issue war. Warning issued. Please. And I appreciate that. I'm glad that you made it through this painful Monday episode of the Sportcat Daily Gazette, where I had technical issues and screens locking up and dropping out of sound and me having to go and enter the studio as a guest and start it over again. I don't know. Don't get it. I am always striving to do better. I want to make the shows the best that they possibly can be. And I would really appreciate your continuing support and helping me out. If you want to buy me a Mountain Dew, today I'm not as jacked up on Mountain Dew as I should be. Maybe that's the problem. And if for some reason, I'm going to throw this out there for the few of you that have stuck this far, that are my loyal fans and followers, if for some reason I ghost you for a few days, it's because I'm going to have to go back to Tennessee due to a family emergency. So more on that. If you want, you can go and check in the show notes, and you can find me on social media, and I will keep updated on Facebook on what's going on with me. And of course, I will keep Ross updated because he will have to pick up the airtime probably, which shouldn't be a big deal because Ross likes to talk too, but I know his parents are in town. So I don't know. I'm going to try not to make it affect the shows, but if I end up having to go back up to Knoxville, it just is almost impossible to do this show because I'm on the laptop. I've already messaged my son to see what I need to do to get a second screen to attach to the laptop so that it would allow me to be able to see and talk, which at times today didn't even work. So hell, I don't know. Maybe I just need one screen. So if I ghost you, you'll know why. Go over, follow me on Sportcat on social media. If you want to send me a friend request, I'm pretty relaxed as long as I have mutual friends or you tell me who you are. I have had a stalker that has caused my family some significant pain and legal expenses in the past. So I'm a little leery because I know the stalker is off of probation and he watches every one of my shows. So Chris says, this may not be technology sound explanation, but I blame Andy for all this. No, all kidding aside, prayers for you and your family, Glenn. Thank you, Chris. I don't know what's going on in Tennessee. I honestly don't at the moment. I haven't seen my phone blowing up, so that's a good thing, but I'll keep you updated. So I don't believe I spoke to Amanda earlier. Let me follow up and see. Let's see. She was saying that there may not be a Two Broke Witches tonight. Amanda's pretty much going to have to take over that show because I think she's got a lot going on, her co-witch. But there may not be a show tonight. We'll have to wait and see. Linda, I don't know if I got it fixed or not, or it just worked out. It seems to be the last time this occurred, it was also on a Monday. So maybe it's got something to do with all the computers are on for Monday and then the rest of the week people take time off and it doesn't work. I don't know. I really don't know. I was trying to think if it was one of the maps I had pulled up, if that specifically was killing so much of the computer. But I've upgraded the computer so many times and I don't know really what that could be. The one thing I do need to do is I need to, not that anybody listening cares. I mean, if you want to send some money or technology support, that would be great. But I think I'm going to have to replace the C drive to make it larger because as I understand it, what the StreamYard does is it loads all the video and everything onto the drive at once and then uploads it out as it goes. So if you have a smaller C drive, which I do, it can create a little lag time as it's going back and forth. that might also be an issue. Oh, but Jesus, I don't know how to replace the C drive. Any other drive, it's easy because you just pop it in, tell the computer it's there. But a C drive, that's where all your stuff is. So I don't know. That's the next upgrade. And before I finally throw this computer out the window and start all over again. So yeah, like I said, if anybody wants to send me a Mountain Dew, the links are in the show notes. I appreciate everybody for suffering through today and apologize. And all the stuff that I show is public domain. And if you have any questions, please shoot me a message at sportcat@protonmail.com. And you can always send me a voice message or a request for your songs at speakpipe.com/sportcat. And I will do my best to get them on the air. Wendell, your request, I had messaged the station manager and program director. They had a case of the flu go through the studio, so they've been out running it remotely because everybody's been ill. So still working on you, Wendell. Don't think I forgot about you. But yeah. And Wendell, I saw you look like you had some great video, or not video, you had some great graphics, but I didn't really get a chance to watch it because I was so busy over the weekend with all the other stuff going on with my Tennessee folk. So apologies, Wendell. I will try and take a look at it today if I don't have to suddenly throw all of my stuff in a suitcase or Walmart bag, whatever, at this point, and head north. So everybody have a great day. I've even got to reload my song going out of here. Good Lord, this thing just totally, it lost the song, it lost the screen, it lost everything, it lost its damn mind. Once again, I really appreciate everybody at Rainbow Radio and Yerg's Radio. Thank you. Ross, thank you for allowing us on. And of course, I'm going to go back and watch this and see if it's worthy of uploading to Spotify and distributing over the net. We'll go from there. Everybody have a great day. Hopefully, fingers crossed, I'll see you tomorrow at 1300 or shortly thereafter.